I vibe you, lovelies. Hey, it's love. Just vibing into the last couple of days, or 2 days. It's been epic. I'm sure, I don't know if anyone noticed that I didn't share any videos yesterday because I was actually doing exactly what the step was specifically yesterday, which was sharing. So I spent most of the day connecting and sharing with people. Um, so first and foremost, I am doing my heart nourishment, so nourishing hearts, nourishing hearts, heart styles, specifically for a reason because the mental one changed, and yesterday was such an eye opener in regards to vibing just into the overall topic of opening a heart, but also in regards to being really clear with my nourishment style, and particularly my mental, which changed. And it's funny because I knew when I had put up stimulated, I was kind of like, I was like, okay, this is a good placeholder, but I knew that the vibe wasn't expressed in the most aligned, fastest vibration. So expansive definitely so went there, which could also just be say progressive. So because I realized for me, I love vibing into things mentally that are actually applicable. One that are progressive and expanding and going like further beyond, but also hugely applicable. So that's something that I really vibed into yesterday. So, in regards to the forgiveness, I spent a good part of yesterday, particularly the early day, starting real early. Matter of fact, I didn't even get any sleep. I just started texting and calling people. Luckily, pretty much everyone who I was vibing with or sharing with were 3 hours ahead of me. So I started, texting and vibe with people at like 4:30 my time. So it actually ended up working out perfectly, and then spent a good part of the day vibing with people. And I just loved how so many different things came out of it. First and foremost, all the response was either neutral or super positive, and it was fun because the people who I was kind of like, be interesting to see how this goes. They might kind of respond kind of harshly. They were super cool. The people who I thought were just gonna be really super open were neutral. So it was kind of fun to see one, don't hold on to any particular concepts, just be really open. Two, like I said, it's just really such an affirmation. And one, two, not to hold on to thinking that a person is vibing a particular way, because pretty much everyone was just like, yo, I let that go, whatever. And except for one person who actually shared something that I was just like, wow, I don't even remember that. Like, I'm surprised that even came up. I'm surprised you remember that. So it was kind of really fun, and once again, just being really open. But it was fun just to be able to have that conversation. And man, one, asking forgiveness is definitely, to me, is just as delicious as seeking it, matter of fact, and getting it. And such a great way. I realized I was just vibing just a minute ago. It's a great way to refresh a connection, to like vibe it and see. Okay, let's one. It's not like you don't already know this. Like so, it's not like you really have to seek it. But it's just like really good to like really vibe into and say, okay, what is the actual vibration of this relationship, this connection, and if there's any slow vibrations, find a way to speed it up. And so it felt like just really like it was an opportunity to refresh some connections that people hadn't really connected with, and also to lighten up both the energy for the individual, but also the collective, our connection, our relationship. So yeah, totally recommend that people do this. One, I think you should just do it on like a 100% in the moment all the time, so you don't necessarily need to go retroactively. However, if you don't, it's definitely a wonderful thing to do retroactively, which is a part which I realized yesterday. I was like, yeah, dealing with forgiveness is real easy because it is retroactive. So I totally recognize. I was like, all right, that's great in sharing, but the next level is being it and being able to apply those same principles in the moment, and that is where I'm at right now, and I'm so having fun with that. So let me finish vibing. So that was pretty much the vibe that I had. Was great, was fun. Really enjoyed, opening up. I think it was also a great space for me because it was like I was doing from an empowered place in that I was the initiator, but at the same time, it was also me opening up space because I asked people, hey, instead of saying I did this thing, I'm seeking, I offer my apology. I request your forgiveness. I was like, so what have I done to forgive you? To see where they're at instead of saying, controlling. So it was like, it was empowered, but it was also open. And I was really proud of myself in being able to go into it in that space. And then also just have the conversation and just like, vibe with it, have fun with it, not be closed and not be, what's the proper term? Not necessarily just controlling, but also, vibing from a space of openness. Yeah, I guess just being really open to the experience. Oh, and not being it's good that I can't think of this word because it's not it's a vibration that I'm moving beyond. Let's see, what's the not being protective. That I don't even know what the other word is that I was thinking, and I'm golden with that, but just not from the space of closed, but open. Yeah, that's definitely the vibe. And so I really, really appreciated those experiences and my ability to do that. And definitely in a lot of conversations, got affirmations that my heart was really a lot more open based off people's responses and based off what people were saying that they were sensing from me. And even had the opportunity, matter of fact, to vibe. So it was like I saw a couple of times where my energy was being reflected as showing me, the energy was reflecting back, showing me that my heart was a lot more open than it had been, and that the conflicts that did come out weren't relating to me at all. They were actually people sharing what they were going through. And I was actually, in particular, in one situation, really able to vibe with someone and say, wow, or matter of fact, two people. Hey, I was just I was just thinking, feeling the same thing a couple of days ago. I was just acting the same way a couple of days ago. And so to be able to see the energy from one place removed, it was like, all right, that's definitely a clear sign of my openness and evolution, that it's no longer me involved. I'm still connected with it because I'm still talking to people who are experiencing it and talking about it and thinking about it, but I'm one place removed, that it's not me experiencing it. And that was just like so golden, and it happened twice. Which brings me around to the next level, which is being able to apply in the moment. So like I said, luckily the experiences that I had, which would have been opportunities to apply in the moment, were not with me, it was with other people. So one person talked about something that was actually happening right at the time frame, not necessarily in the moment, but like conversation I'd have, then they talk to the other person, then I talk to them, and so they'll probably be talking to that person again, they'll probably be talking to me. So very much in the mix, but not necessarily in the moment. Another situation that I had, which was really, oh my gosh, it was so interesting and intriguing. Oh my gosh, it was so interesting and intriguing. In that there was a conflict, and once again, I was right there. So this was one much more in the moment, but it wasn't about me. It wasn't directed towards me. I didn't initiate it. I wasn't a part of it, so it wasn't directed towards me. So it was like really cool to actually see the exact thing that I'm talking about actually in like real life. So first and foremost, next level, and this actually vibing into it brought me back around to say, okay, now I can see how I can start easily applying the principles of open-heartedness in the moment. So one thing I am so appreciating where I was when I did the first video, the long 18-minute one, back on the 22nd, where I was saying I'm setting up boundaries. I'm putting my foot down as far as energies that I am going to accept. I'm realizing I so appreciate and respect that I did that at the time, because I was honest, I was felt. I'm realizing I don't need to do that anymore. Now that I've really opened, I can partake in energies and maintain my center and maintain a loving firmness, which I'm which is honoring all parts of me, honoring both sides of the situation, being able to be loving, but not, the loving that is an opportunity for someone to expand versus just the loving that just feels good. And to me, they're all equal. It's all the same. It's all golden. So basically what happened yesterday is, like I said, two people were conflicting. I was watching it, and I was glad that I kind of was able to kind of, I literally offered like a white flag to say, hey y'all, do y'all realize what y'all are doing? Is this really what y'all want to do? But what I vibed was, still in doing that, one, I was laughing, which you see I'm laughing now, which totally a coping mechanism. Was, matter of fact, one of my partners that ex-partners that I talked to yesterday, actually was one of the people who used to, all of the partners used to say this, but him in particular be like, you laugh when it's something serious. And I realized that was just a deflection. It was a coping mechanism, and I still do it. Moving beyond it, at least I'm aware of it now. So totally yesterday was totally laughing about the situation, though I realized I was closing down inside. Though the energy wasn't directing at me, it was such a slow vibration. Matter of fact, one thing that I noticed, which was so fun, me and the sister was vibing real high. And then, so I live with 3 dudes. So one of the dudes came in, and he was just kind of like talking about folks. And I was just like, here comes the high school vibe. The energy just kind of, fell. Then the next person came in, all clothes, like a high schooler, all dark clothes, not wanting to take part, just like you would see in, junior high. I was like, all right, energy just fell again. Then the next person came in with some straight elementary, I'm teasing you, to, giving you a hard time to get your attention. I was like, man. And I was like really close by that point. So what I realized is I have the opportunity to maintain a high vibe. And first and foremost, in that, you see that I judged it and said, okay, describing it as high school and elementary and da-da-da. So I was totally judging it. So I was closing. I was like, okay, I have the option not to vibe it that way and to simply be like, thanks for sharing, and going right back to the high vibe. Like, I'm realizing, because what ends up happening is, like, when I was closing, I was taking on the energy, and I was becoming that energy. And I was like, I could choose not to do that and still maintain the high vibe. And I can do it lovingly. Because matter of fact, if you don't do it lovingly, you're taking on the vibe. So finding some way to be loving and appreciative and honor the higher vibration of the situation, where they're just like, hey, thanks for sharing. Thanks for being a part. Whatever you're saying is funny or cute or whatever, positiveness I can share with it, and then just moving beyond it and pretty much ignoring it and letting it flow by. Like someone actually said, like, was just describing clouds. It's like, yeah, just let it flow by like a cloud. I don't have to take it on or engage, but I also don't have to close down or reject it. And so that is actually, I'm so super excited, because that for me feels like the next level, and that feels like being loved, like 100%. So yeah, I'm super excited actually now that I'm like, I can start, I guess I would say, experimenting with my social interactions, where I don't have to close down to them or try to control them or try to choose in advance. I can just say, okay, in the moment, I will find a way to share a balanced energy. If, of course, the person is coming on an energy that's not already balanced. And that for me also feels like it's honoring both the other person's energy, but also the 100% reality is that if they're sharing that with, whether to me directly or to a group that I'm part of, that energy is still a part of me. And so being able to share out in a loving way is saying, okay, I honor that I'm a part of the co-creation of this energy in the first place. So I have absolutely no reason to judge it nor shut down to it. So yeah, which going to after, matter of fact, is this before or after? Before this, what came to me was clarity. So from the conversations, a part of this, matter of fact, and it actually came before this situation, which is actually where I noticed the difference in my energy, because I had been really tired because I hadn't slept. And then when I vibed with the two people about their experiences, I went and took a shower, which I'm just noticing. I don't know if y'all notice, I'm starting to notice. Man, whenever I'm dealing with water, it helps me really mad crazy expand. So whether I'm doing the dishes, taking a shower, watering the garden, my energy just super, super expands with that. So yeah, I guess it's that whole emotion, energy, nourishing. And I guess it's funny, I guess in a sense, I'm realizing to see that we're sharing the energy. We are receiving the energy in so many different ways. It's already there. And I think it's just more about opening and seeing it for what it is and appreciating for what it is. So having said that, back to, so, and vibing into the two people's vibes. I was sharing something that didn't feel really clear to me, and I feel I could tell that they didn't really feel it clear, and I realized because I hadn't gotten the clarity on it. So when I stepped away and got in the shower, clarity really came on two really powerful points. One, whatever we say we don't want, whatever we try to negate, one is actually a part of us, but two is actually what we want. And actually, one of my roommates had said this is one of a Chinese proverb. And I was totally, at first I was just like, nah, and then I kind of vibe, was like, yeah, but now I really like, it was intellectual. Now I really vibe it and like 100 emotionally I'm connected with this. Okay. And I realized it also just like makes sense that children don't know the word no. Like, let's just be honest. If you try to tell a child to don't do something, usually they do it more. Let's just be real. I guess it's funny because I think about, like, if you hold say a pops, or matter of fact, let's just do a positive. If you hold, I don't even know. I guess I'm not going to use the example because I would have wanted to use a raw vegan, but I'm like, there's nothing I would tell a child raw vegan not to eat. So let's just use the cooked version. If you hold a popsicle in front of a child and say, no, you can't have this, best believe their mind is completely ignoring the no part and focused on having that popsicle. So our inner children, and I know other like motivational speakers and psychologists have talked about this part of us where, and also of course, source only flows, infinitely flows, but it's always flowing towards, not ever, I would say never away from. And of course you could kind of, that's up to, for discussion, but for me, source is just like completely open to everything. So on the deeper levels, there is no. And children, of course, being much more connected with that energy, there are no no's. So having said that, if we are stating something from a negative or negating it, we are really stating that we like it, we want it. And so that's super powerful, because for me, when I really vibed into that, is so being able to be so honest and first present and aware, but so honest and authentic with ourselves that we're willing to honor even the thing that we are, ashamed of or want to change or whatever that is. And so that's like a huge, after this vid, because I think I was stating some negatives in the beginning, so I'll totally admit that after this vid, I'm definitely going to be stepping hugely into that awareness, remembering that. That was like super, super amazing. And then the other part of, which is funny, this one keeps kind of going in and out of my mind. Oh no, it's left again. What was it? Oh well, okay. I guess I get to maybe do another video, because this is exactly what happened earlier. This happened yesterday. I kept like vibing into this and then forgetting it. So all right, well, I'll stop the video here because I don't really remember the other part, and I know it was super powerful and important. I just don't remember it in the moment. So all right, y'all, I love y'all, and we're at 18:15, so I'll actually stop at 18. I could have stopped at 18:18, but I'll stop at 18:22. Bliss.